Honorable Daniel Dank Mahama, the representatives of the Member of Parliament for German South, former MP for Binduri, Abdullahi Abanga, former DCE for Boko West, Honorable Daniel Atampuba Anania, the National Chairman of the People's National Convention and Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Asaki Sampson and Wingobet and his entourage. I am also full of gratitude to the Chief of Sapeliga, Naba Ako Budi and his people, the Chief and people of Binaba, the Chief and people of Yarugu, the Chief and people of Gogo, the Chief and people of Kobiri, and the Chidomhin of Suhum. Courtesy by Desmond Bagbila.
Hi there, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of News Tonight. I'm Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. Coming up in this hour-long bulletin, 35-year-old suspect in Ahmed Suale murder case remanded for allegedly selling Suale's photographs to Kennedy Agyapong. Tonight, we'll hear from Suale's family. And lawyers of former Sun Central MP Kennedy Agyapong challenge claim the embattled former NPP flag bearer is to pay $18 million to investigative journalist Anas Anas in defamation case. Also, Lands Minister pushes for a complete ban on the importation of excavators and floating equipment in an effort to curb illegal mining. In sports, Sports Minister expresses unwavering support for Black Stars ahead of match with Chad in 2026 FIFA World Cup Qualifiers on Friday. We've got details of these and more right here on GHOne Television. Please stay with us. I appreciate your company once again this evening. We start with Insight. On Insight tonight, a 35-year-old businessman, Daniel Owusu-Kranting, has been remanded until April 1, 2025 by the District Court in Medina over investigations into the murder of journalist Ahmed Suale. Usu Kranting is alleged to have sold Suale's photographs to Kennedy Agyapong, which is believed to have exposed the journalist, leading to his untimely death. EIB Network's legal affairs correspondent Murtala Inusa has more.
It's been 6 years since the police mounted in the matter. Kofi Esel indicated was that there's no basis for the prosecution to make a case for his client to be remanded. He has this description about
surprise charge sheet with one count of murder, and they prayed the court to remand our client with no basis.
He also has some concerns to share about the manner in which the prosecution is going about in relation to this very case.
We have nothing on our client. It's just a multitude of suspicions and allegations and hearsays that have been put together. And the law never crystallized any evidence. It is just for someone's career to shoot up, and someone has to go down, and that's what they are doing. It's just mere witch hunting.
They have to amend the charge sheet. That will be done. But one clear thing that came to the fore in court when the brief fact was being read was to the effect that the accused person was the one that sold pictures of Ahmed Suale to the member of parliament, which was then aired on the television. Subsequently, days after Ahmed Suale was killed, and in fact, it made point that records or traces to the scene also shows that the said accused person was closer to the scene in which Ahmed Suale was murdered. But in all of that, time will tell. For now, he will be in lawful custody until April 1, when he make a reappearance here at the Medina District Court. From Medina District Court here in Accra, Murtala Inusa, GHOne.
So that's our legal affairs correspondent. That you want to stay with us tonight. We'll be engaging the family of Ahmed Suale. But before that, let me just bring you what we know about who this suspect is and a little more background to the entire story. So we know that the accused, Daniel Usu Kranting, also known as Akwesi Amache, is a 35-year-old businessman and former colleague of the slain investigative journalist Ahmed Suale. Now, Kranting was the managing director of ISPY company and previously worked with Suale at Tiger Eye company led by Anas Arimeyao Anas. We also know that in May 2018, Kennedy Agyapong, a member of the ruling New Patriotic Party, threatened to expose Anas Arimeyao Anas if he screened an investigative documentary on corruption in African football. On 6, 2018, the documentary number 12 was publicly screened in Accra, and Agyapong published photographs of Suale and other team members, including Anas, who were always disguised in public. Now, Kennedy Agyapong escalated his campaign of hate against Suale, calling on supporters in a televised program to attack the journalist. And we know the tensions rose. Suale's family received threats on January 16, 2019. Suale was shot and killed by unidentified gunmen in Medina. The police investigation revealed that Kranting had multiple interactions with Suale and his family before his death. Call records placed Kranting in Medina near Suale's residence before and at the time of the murder. Further analysis showed that Kranting traveled from Medina to his residence in Amasaman late in the evening after the murder. During the arrest, Kranting admitted knowing Suale, visiting Agyapong and taking photographs with Suale, but denied selling the photographs to anyone. Also, Kranting declined multiple police invitations and fled to the United Kingdom in August 2019. He later returned to Ghana and was arrested in Amasaman on March 15, 2025. So that's to set the tone for the analysis we're going to have this evening with security analyst Sam Appiah, and he's joined us for more. Good evening. I'm grateful to you for your time. Now, this case has been unsolved for about 6 years. You may want to refer to it as a cold one. Now, all of a sudden, we have a new government, and we see all these activities happening around the case. What do you suspect to have been the reason for such a long time coming? Is it just mere coincidence? What intelligence are you picking on this?
Bernice, good evening, and good evening to your viewers. I think my first impression will have to be to the effect that the current IGP, looking at his background and his professionalism, how vexed he is in operational activities as far as the police activities are concerned. I mean, he will want to make sure that the public will have a strong confidence in the police administration. This case basically has traveled far, and I believe very well that, I mean, even the put before court for justice, I believe that is the bottom line, and that is the motivation as we speak. I have no doubt that the current Inspector General of Police, I will want to believe that he indeed will want to make a very strong, statement out there that he's not going to, leave any stone unturned as far as these cases of higher national interest are concerned.
Mr. Appiah, sorry, I would have you hold your thoughts there. I'll come back to you shortly. We've been joined by the uncle of Ahmed Suale, Dr. Mustafa Idrisu. He also speaks for the family. Thank you so much for your time. And I remember clearly when this incident occurred, the family was quite vocal about how it felt about the situation and kept calling on the police to take action. For some time, the family went silent. Why did you go silent, and what is your reaction to the latest on this matter?
All right, so good evening and good evening to your viewers. We went silent because at a point in time we're getting frustrated by the Ghana Police Service. And as a matter of fact, the Ghana Police Service were not actually forthcoming with any information regarding what exactly happened. But today, the family is happy, the family is elated that something of this sort is coming up within the shortest possible time. You know, this case has traveled since 2019. And since that time, we've been in touch with the Ghana Police Service, and nothing came up until now. And we are happy to hear that something of that sort is happening. And
Doc, when you say nothing came up, what exactly do you mean? Is it that there was investigation happening, but you were not being given any information, or there was no activity around the case at all?
I believe there was an activity around the case. But for us as a family, we were so much interested in the arrest or apprehension of the culprit, anyone who was behind the murder. So if we are not getting that, then we would determine that nothing was happening. But as a matter of fact, we knew that the police kept on telling us that they were investigating. So that is why I said that we believe that nothing was happening, because we wanted to get concrete information from the police about the case.
Has the police involved you lately?
For about a year now, we weren't hearing anything from the police until this particular arrest was made some 4 or 5 days ago.
No matter the length of time, we need to make sure we achieve the objective of the investigation. And so, much as I want to also believe that coming in with a new IGP will fast-track certain delivery of information and intelligence for people also to be motivated, that they are willing to come for and give the necessary information to the police, and the police will have to act that the case will not go cold again.
Right.
At this point, we want to make sure and we want to see from them that they will keep engaging the family, and whatever investigation they are doing, if there's a need for them to protect and ensure the credibility, the integrity of evidences and witnesses and the information, they will have to do that as it requires by the standard professionalism of investigations and prosecution.
Have challenged claims the embattled former NPP flag bearer aspirant is to pay $18 million to investigative journalist Lansah. A jury in the Essex County Superior Court in New Jersey found the former MP liable for defamation and awarded a
lawsuit. It all started on May 17, 2022, when Lansah filed a suit in the Essex County Superior Court in the state of New Jersey in the United States of America, accusing Ken Agyapong of defaming him. Per his action, he sought 5 reliefs. The suit was triggered by comments made in damages, among other reliefs. Ken Agyapong and his lawyers filed their respective processes to counter the claims. On Thursday, March 13, 2025, a jury panel of 8 in the Essex County Superior Court in New Jersey unanimously found former MP Kennedy Agyapong liable for defamation and awarded $18 million in damages.
Branding me a terrorist instead of adjudicating the facts before him. This miscarriage of justice was later condemned by Supreme Court Justice Kolindi, who rightly described it as a violent abuse of judicial authority. My fight has never been for personal gain, but for the soul of Ghana's democracy. This victory in the US sends a powerful message.
Litigation or issues that will come out, that is a subject for the future. But for now, there has not been any judgment, properly so-called.
But until such a time that the court comes out with a new decision, the current orders of the court still remains.
Okay, so the court's decision, if we start at the end, the court is denying your request for mistrial, and everyone will file motions at the appropriate time, and the court will address everything after the motions are filed appropriately and then responded appropriately. Does anyone have any questions about anything? Julio?
That was a News Desk report. Away from legal issues, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, is pushing for a complete ban on the importation of excavators and floating equipment. According to him, Ghana imported mining equipment to the tune of 6.4 billion cedis in 2024 alone. Importation of mining equipment into the country has been ranked 3rd on the country's import bill. The minister believes these equipment are diverted for illegal mining purposes.
They also talk about the importance of making sure that there should be the process of a proper control and regulation of the imports of excavators. A few number of imports that are in 2024. The 3rd rank import into Ghana was excavators, and the tune of 6.2 billion Ghana cedi excavators, representing 2.5% of the total import bill. On a yearly basis, we are importing excavators to the tune of 6.2 billion Ghana cedi. It's the 3rd largest import into Ghana. How are we regulating? How are we controlling it? This is mining in our river bodies, which is illegal.
Still on Galamsey, in a move to combat the menace, the government has revoked all mining licenses granted after December 7, arguing that they were issued without due process. Of the 103 licenses issued, 102 were approved between January 1 and January 6, just before the Akufo-Addo administration left office. The move is part of a broader strategy to tackle the devastating environmental effects of illegal mining. There's more in the following report.
Illegal mining, locally known as galamsey, has resulted in the degradation of thousands of hectares of Ghana's land. While mining has boosted economic hopes, it has also fueled concerns about its severe environmental impact, including threat to ecotourism and climate resilience. Addressing the media, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa defended the revocation of the licenses, stating it is essential to restore order in a sector.
We are going full steam ahead to revoke all licenses based on the findings. All licenses, small-scale licenses that were issued from December 7th is hereby revoked. Whether you have EPA licenses, because the finding is very clear. Those licenses from December 7th were rushed, the due processes were not followed, and the right things were not done.
Meanwhile, Awula Sewa, Executive Director of Eco-Conscious Citizens, has called for a tougher crackdown on illegal mining.
We've been asking for a temporary pause on small-scale mining, not because a lot of it is not being monitored. Therefore, they have their mining licenses, and then they are
long-term solution to the galamsey crisis.
We don't see the place of the river gas, considering the fact that it does not offer any strategic operational support to the needs of the people on the ground. Because for a long time, the committee themselves have done very well in reporting on a lot of the illegalities happening in their communities. So if you are now saying that you are going to employ people just to report on what is happening to our rivers, then you have not done anything.
Will this move mark a turning point in Ghana's fight against galamsey, or will the battle rage on? Only time will tell.
Still on mining issues, the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, has issued a stern warning that illegal miners will be dealt with and arrested. He spoke at a news conference earlier.
We want to send a signal to everybody. It doesn't matter which political party you belong. It doesn't matter whether you hold a position in any political party, even including our party NDC. We will not spare anybody who engages in this terrorism of our land and river bodies and environment. So those who think that they can hide behind political clothing, whichever political party, they should better watch out.
Now let's engage the national president of the Concerned Small-Scale Miners Association, Michael Pepra, for his quick thoughts on all these interventions in a bid to end galamsey.
Solutions to the problem.
Michael, sorry, Michael. We've been at this for years. We have tried so many interventions. There are those who have actually suggested that even at a point there should be a shoot and kill, that military people have gone into the forest reserves, gone onto our water bodies, all in a bid to stop illegal mining. Now you say you want a holistic approach. I just want to understand what else again in your mind will amount to that holistic approach you're talking about.
I think this problem should be seen as a management problem, in a sense that every day we try to fight the problem, but we fail. Have we thought through the reason why we normally fail if we want to fight? This is a bread and butter issue. People want to do the right thing. Others are miscreants who just want to do.
After December 7 have all had those licenses revoked. We also know the minister is calling for a complete ban on excavator importation. Michael is back on. Hopefully we can sustain the conversation this time round. Hello, Michael. So you were just explaining that this is a bread and butter issue, and so you want it tackled in a different manner. Just end on that thought for us. Sincere apologies. We seem to have a challenge with Michael Pepra's line. Again, hopefully we'll be able to raise him so we can hear what he has to say. I'll try another time if you can hear me. Michael, you can just end your thought on the point of this being a bread and butter issue and how you want the government to tackle galamsey.
The government should tackle galamsey from the bottom-up approach. everybody should be included in this fight. It shouldn't only, rest on government to help us solve this problem. In a sense that a lot of the youth want to find something better to do. Why are people engaging in Galamsey? This is what sometimes we fail to understand. People are sleeping on gold. People want licenses to mine. At the end of the day, if people can mine responsibly, this is where we should, put our energy at. Not to be seen as always fighting people who wants to find their ends meet.
Michael, there are those who say, though, that this is an illegality. It's almost as if you're asking government to pamper people who are engaged in illegality. It's like justifying armed robbery and saying that, well, the young people don't have any jobs, they must survive, and so they go out to rob people, so let's have a tete-a-tete or a discussion with them. This is an illegality, isn't it? And shouldn't it be treated as such?
Yes, this is an illegality, and we should understand that. It's about time we need to understand that, okay, fine, gold, or it's about time we need to understand that, okay, fine, gold or mining is not a bad thing. At the end of the day, why are people mining with impunity? What are the reasons why people
tried everything in the books? We have done community engagement. We have done alternative livelihood programs. We have engaged illegal miners. We have done community forums. I'm just wondering what, again, apart from the minister's suggestion that we should ban the importation of excavators, because these are what people use to perpetrate this illegality, and also revoking the licenses of persons who had the licenses approved at the latter part of last year. I'm just wondering what else in the books you want us to do. We've done everything, haven't we? We've tried everything, haven't we?
Yes, we have, but I think I would say will not yield any result, in the sense that we have excavators in the country already. So what happens to those excavators that are mining in the various forest reserves? We have processes you follow to get your license. Look, before you even get your
unfortunately, we lost Michael again, but we'll leave it here for now. Hopefully, we can engage Michael some other time on measures being taken by government to combat illegal mining. Now, victims of Tuesday night's military assault in Sabongari, Misiga, Zogin, Patlemi and Azaga, all in the Boko enclave, are calling for an independent inquiry into persistent military excesses as they demand for justice. The victims, including pregnant women and children, are currently receiving treatment in hospitals across the Boko municipality.
Beat her and vandalized her belongings.
1, open, 2, open. And I said, excuse me, I'll come and open. When I just open, they start beating me. That why is the man of this? I say, I don't have mother, I don't have father, I don't have my husband. I'm living alone. All my body and my ears and my jaws all. And they just wound me with my hands all. They say curfew hours, and you people are entering houses beating people. No reason. So we are pleading government to take care of this issue for us. If not that, we cannot survive.
One of the victims, Isaiah Wampene, a nurse at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, recounted his ordeal.
They started beating us, destroying properties, taking our phone, our items and money. And me, I'm also a staff from Tamale Teaching Hospital. I'm sick. I came home to treat myself. And my directors and my in charges at the website, they are aware this is my leave form, with the mind of returning this early dawn and also to help treat. But now look at what they've done to me. Is that fair?
Another victim, David Sadiq Wampini, who serves as the secretary of the Registered Nurses Association in Boko, condemned the assaults, calling it an abuse of power.
I was in the house with my little girl, so I had a bang on my gate. So when I got up, it was a military officer. Then he said I should drop the baby and come out, and I said out. Then all of a sudden he pulled me out. Then he started beating me. About 10 military officers surrounded me. Others were having sticks some with a wire whip. So I told them that I'm a nurse. I've been posted to work here. They wouldn't listen to me.
In Boko, Isaac Anaba has issued a stern warning to strike if immediate justice is not served.
It is worrying and disturbing the way the military in Ghana are carrying out their activities. When they come to you, they will not only beat you, they will steal from you, they will kill people, and it is so uncharacteristic of a military command. So we are calling on the military command. First, we want to know who ordered this command. Number two, is the military telling us that they don't have a center for military intelligence whereby when something happens, they can gather intelligence and go after the culprit? Must you go brutalizing every civilian? We are saying that if this thing doesn't stop, the few nurses that are left in Boku, we will take transfer and we will leave the place, and whatever government wants to do with the municipal, they can go ahead and do it, because the government cannot wash their hands out of this, because they keep on doing and nothing is being done to them, and that has emboldened them day in day out, every year by year, and they keep on doing this.
The military destroyed vehicles, motorbikes, fans, ceilings, sofas, fridges and other household items during the raid. The chief of Misige's house was also ransacked and flat screens destroyed. Mobile phones and other personal items were also allegedly taken away. As the victims continue their slow recovery, demands for accountability and justice grow louder.
Now, I must mention that we are yet to receive a response from the military high command on this incident. But in Parliament, Mahama Yarega, who happens to be the majority leader and MP for the area, has been reacting to happenings there.
The military detachment in Boku and its environs, there's also a detachment in Benduri, undertook an exercise of ransacking almost every house that they came across, beating up everybody, men, women, children, old men, old women who could not flee, injuring some, destroying the properties of others, smashing television sets, fridges, and everything that came their way. Mr. Speaker, I made several calls, tried to urge them to stop. They did not. And this morning they continued. And as we speak, the military, the soldiers are still, especially a soldier who has left his family and has come to help us establish law and order in the Boku area.
You're watching News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. We'll take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll bring you business news updates to stay. And in business, former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Haile Mariam Desalegn has decried, the slow pace of intracontinental trade, attributing it to inadequate infrastructure. According to him, African countries find it easier to export to the Western world, spending less time as compared to trading among themselves. The former Prime Minister, who delivered a lecture at the Africa Secretariat in Accra, advocated
the exportation of raw materials from Africa as an infrastructure trap, depriving the continent of much needed revenue, and thus called for a paradigm shift.
For decades, Africa has supplied the world with gold, oil, coffee, cocoa, and a host of other raw materials, some of which it then re-imports back as finished products as a much higher price. This is a structural trap, keeping us at the lower end of the global value chains. Yet our own consumption trends should serve as a wake-up call that trade agreements alone are not enough.
Meanwhile, Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Wankele Mene, in his remarks, indicated the trade bloc's quest in empowering the private sector, especially women traders, youth, and micro, small, and medium enterprises through a simplified trade regime to boost trade on the continent.
The good news is that we have the AfCFTA. The legal foundation is very strong. This presents us with an opportunity to develop a domestic market, an inward-looking domestic market that focuses on building supply chains in Africa, building our own resilience, and continuing to develop the AfCFTA market.
Agenda 2063, set by the African Development Bank and adopted by the AFTA, seeks to have an entrenched and flourishing culture of human rights, democracy, gender equality and peace, prosperity, true trade, security and safety for all citizens.
While we offer business, up next is sports, and Joel Agyapong has some news on the Black Stars.
Exactly. So we start off with the Minister for Sports and Recreation, Kofi Adams, who's expressed unwavering support for the Black Stars of Ghana as they gear up to face Chad in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier. In an exclusive interview with my colleague Monica Bukari, Kofi Adams delivered a message to encourage the team.
The players themselves, I've been telling them yesterday, I had opportunity to engage some. I've engaged others via phone and other medium since becoming the minister. And I've always told them one thing. Whilst I don't want them to erase our failure to qualify for the AFCON from their head, I don't want that to weigh them down. It should rather motivate them to play better and harder to qualify for the World Cup. But I don't want them to forget, because maybe if they forget, whatever caused it could happen again without us. Lessons have been learned, and I just pray that we're going to see a completely different Otoado and help the coach to make a decision, because his decision will not now be based on he alone anticipating, but there's some data that other persons are collecting which helps him in arriving at a decision, both before play, during play, and maybe after the first half of the game. So that's what I'm saying. Let's watch and see the new Otoado that he said I should look out for. I'm going to look out for that, and at the end of the day, it should result in a win, and not just a win, but a good win that will put us in a good position.
All right, so that's by way of sports. But before we go, we want to say congratulations to a certain gentleman. He's 33 years old. N'Golo Kante, he had a traditional wedding today in Mali. Remember, he's actually fasting also. So
You just had to bring that in,
you were asking.
Yeah. I'm sure he just wanted a low-key event, because I was just wondering how Ramadan